For the first time in history, prices on used cars are defying gravity. What was once seen as the ultimate depreciating asset is now the exact opposite. In the pre-pandemic era, it was well known to everyone that a new car depreciates or loses value almost immediately after you drive it off a dealer's lot, sometimes losing as much as 20% of its value each year. Fast forward to the day, and many car owners are finding out that their vehicles are worth more money than what they paid originally. According to data from CarGurus.com, the average Toyota cost $18,411 back in February of 2020. Now, almost 19 months later, that price has increased to $25,721, representing a 40% rise in price. If you look around YouTube, you will find tons of videos explaining all the different reasons why this is happening, everything from chip shortages to labor shortages. You will also find dozens of videos dating back to last year calling peaks and incoming price crashes, all of which have failed to materialize. So what is the point I'm trying to make here? Just like all the other shocking price rises throughout various sectors within the economy, I believe these elevated prices are here to stay. It is interesting to hear other people's opinion on the matter. Take for an example Dave Ramsey, who has maintained that nobody should feed into the frenzy, that prices are elevated and will eventually come crashing down to normal levels. And while his opinions seem fair at the start, it's now been almost 2 years with no relief in sight. For every peak that has been flattened, a new record high has emerged soon after. This video from back in May is a glimpse into just how difficult it is predicting prices in this crazy post-pandemic environment. Dave chooses his words carefully and for all the right reasons. Take a listen to this exchange.
But as you know, the housing market and the vehicle market are almost identical on the supply and demand issue that's having with it right now. And I'm a little leery about trying to buy a vehicle that I feel is overvalued anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000 only to have the supply chain issue get corrected in this fall. Do you have any opinions on the vehicle market right now in regards to that question?
I don't have any opinions that would be based in fact, only feelings. So I will qualify it with that. But as you've already ascertained, we, those of us in business have observed that when the factories quit making new things, the supply of new things was gone, meaning new cars. You can't find a new car. Certain brands you still can't find them. They've cranked the factories back up, but you still haven't gotten them all the way to the car lots. And when there's no new cars available, guess what that does? It sends all the new car buyers into the used car market, where the used car buyers already were. Now you got twice as many people, give or take, chasing the same number of cars. That is going to drive price up artificially until the marketplace gets some equilibrium, meaning that the supply of new comes in again and relaxes the strain on the used car market, relaxing the pricing. I don't know when that is. I'll give you a wild guess, but it's worth what you paid for it. I'm just telling you, I have no idea. I'm going to guess and say by fall, you're going to get equilibrium in that market.
So as you just heard, Ramsey made a prediction that he himself admitted was not based on any real facts, but nonetheless, he believed prices would reach some sort of stability by fall of this year. We are now about 2 weeks away from fall, and prices remain trending upwards. As one of America's top financial gurus, even Dave is having issues giving out the right advice to people in need of a car or a home. This new inflationary environment is skewing what was normal before, and the length of time that prices have remained elevated is catching a lot of people by surprise. According to many experts, high vehicle prices are here to stay. Even if we look away from used to new cars, prices in that segment are also trending up, with the average new car now priced over $41,000. Dealers had roughly 932,000 new vehicles for sale on lots nationwide at the end of July. 2 years ago, that number was at 3.1 million. The inventory shortage is likely the number one element contributing to this bizarre environment, and according to analysts at Goldman Sachs, it's going to take years just to get inventories back to pre-2020 levels. J.D. Power Vice President of Data and Analytics Tyson Jamini told Yahoo Finance that, quote, "As far as we can tell, our forecast calls for very similar conditions to persist throughout all of 2021. In fact, well into 2022. But even this prediction has come under fire by many in the finance world. Although driven by various factors, it seems that the root of this problem is what everyone is calling the great chip shortage. Without chips, you can't make new cars, and without new cars, you get an influx of buyers in used cars. This loop of problems originates at the semiconductor plants in Japan, Taiwan, China, and the US. Analysts who claimed that chip shortages would end in Q3 of this year have pushed and revised their estimates over and over again. Right now, it's unclear when the great chip shortage will end, and even when it does, you then face another problem: greed by the automakers. Take a listen to this CNBC segment.
And we heard about the chip shortage potentially lasting into next year. Phil, are there any estimates as to when things will go back to normal in terms of pricing?
No, I've talked with a couple of analysts in the last couple of weeks. Really, at this point, the most they can say is we think that the true chip shortage that we're seeing, it ends early next year. But remember, Melissa, they thought it would also end by the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter. So it keeps getting pushed out. And then the question becomes, do the automakers truly ramp up production to levels that we've seen in the past? Or do they sit there and they say, look, we get high profits right now. We have discipline when it comes to production, discipline that's being forced on them. Do they keep that discipline once they have the supply of chips that they want?
So there you have another issue once the chip shortage is fixed. The automakers are in no rush to rapidly increase their supply of cars. They are now sitting back and enjoying the much higher margins, raking in profits while blaming a pandemic for all their price hikes. If you are counting on multinational corporations to do the right thing and lower prices as soon as supply levels normalize, I would say you're quite delusional. The truth was laid out in the last segment. Nobody knows when prices will go back to normal or if they're ever going to go back to normal. It's been 2 years of never-ending rises, and evidence is hinting at the fact that these supply issues will not go away anytime soon. It may be years before we start to see the market normalize again. Thank you guys for watching, and please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed.